Hello, I'm Serious Geeks, and I'd like to talk about a new model release from Games Workshop that is actually quite substantial and a first, that a lot of people should be more excited about than what they really are. It is, of course, the classic Terminator Librarian. As you can see, the new Librarian is a cracking model, quite large, imposing, quite dynamic. Now, it's not without its criticisms. A lot of people have criticised the arm placement, but if you're going to do that, you may as well criticise all Terminators and a lot of the range, to be honest. A lot of the Warhammer 40,000 models are anatomically incorrect in several ways. Dreadnoughts shouldn't be able to walk, even the new Redemptor Dreadnought. If you're going to go down that route, there's a lot of problems, and I think that hurts your hobby. So today I wanted to make this a more positive review of a model that I actually think is quite cracking, and it's actually quite a substantial release from Games Workshop, in that it is the first classic marine that they've released, even though it is a limited edition, since Games Workshop started releasing Primaris Marines, and that is not something to be sniffed at. Now, if you look at the model, it is a new vision for Space Marines, in that it is larger, in line with the more heroic scale of all the models that they've upsized recently. It is definitely something I'm going to pick up. I really enjoy it, and moving forward I'd like to see more of the range fleshed out like this. I mean, let's be honest, everyone has their likes and dislikes in the hobby. Primaris Marines, a lot of people do enjoy them, and you know, more power to everyone who enjoys them. I'm quite a fan of historical gaming, though. I know it's a fictional setting and all, but I actually quite enjoy things like the Battle of Macragge, and you know, even things with the Scouring. You know, there's 10,000 years of hobby that hasn't been tapped, and I would like Games Workshop to go down that route with their model range in the future. Although I am digressing a little bit, maybe that's something I can talk about at a later date. If you look at the previous model up on the screen now, you know, anatomically, no one really criticised it in the same way as they're criticising this model, and yeah, it has the same flaws. So I just reject those claims, simply because you've got to suspend your disbelief a little bit with the hobby. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with it if you want to go down that route. It's about enjoying the game, enjoying the hobby, and I'm an Ultramarines player, so if we're going to whack models onto the table that upset people, I'm used to it, and I'm all for it. Regarding the previous model, the pose just seems a bit unnatural and awkward for me. I do like my models to look a little bit more natural, and I like the pose to look as solid as possible. Not to say I would criticise anyone who has this model in their army. It's still a good looking model. It's much better than, I think, the massive book that was on top of the first Terminator epistolary that they released since the, as you can see on the screen now, the old lead version that was second edition. Now, I've actually got this model. I might paint it, I'm not sure. Just for nostalgia reasons. It's a very good model for the day. It's actually proper lead, but it's actually tiny. It's like the size of an Imperial Guardsman, and you can really see how Games Workshop have increased the sizes over the years. But it is a classic model. I don't enjoy painting lead models. I think that's probably why I won't bother. Anyway, moving on, you can see the original Terminator Captain, something I never picked up, and I actually quite like him. I think he looks good. I think he looks quite characterful, and you can see, and the reason I bring him up into this is because you can see it as a comparison of Terminators, and you can see, you know, if you have all these models on the table, what you actually have. You have some really visual effects that are going to be very much unique. You know, it's one of the things I actually enjoy about 40k is its unique Gothic style. You know, the hunched Terminators loping forward, bringing death to the enemies of mankind, or as they see it. We all know it's a bit of a grey area. Anyway, I like that visual, and I'm afraid that, you know, some of the visuals with the newer releases are a little bit too clean cut, and they look a little bit like Infinity toys, you know, Infinity miniatures. And you know, there's a place for that in 40k, and I always thought that was the Tau, but to see it in the Space Marine range is actually a little bit distressing. Even the newest releases, as you can see up on the screen now, it's a great Dark Angels captain, but he just looks a bit clean cut for me. And as for Strike, he is straight. If you look at this dude, he is straight out of He's straight out of Infinity, and it's just not for me, I'm afraid. That's the whole problem with the Phobos armor line. It's just the legs, they just look straight out of Infinity. You know, they're too ultra modern, and that's not what 40k was all about. Anyway, I'm not trying to make this a Primaris rant. I've actually bought my fair share of Primaris Space Marines for my kids. They, you know, I mean, like I say, I've got a historical themed army list, so I can't replace that. But I've bought plenty of models for my kids. I don't, you know, every model has its place in the hobby, and if that's what you like, then good for you. I would never try and dump on that. However, for historical gaming purposes, this Terminator Librarian is spot on for me. It's exactly what I want. I've got one on order, and I look forward to adding him to my list with Guilliman. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm also taking 10 Cataphractii Terminators, teleporting them down, and the plan is to conga line them from Guilliman to get the +1 on the charge. He only has to be within 12, and he has a movement of 8, so that's a 20-inch reach. And then casting Veil of Time on from the Librarian on these Terminators, and then hopefully being able to get a guaranteed turn 2 charge. So that's my purpose with this Terminator Librarian. Plus, it looks cool, and if it's going to troll people who don't like the model, all the better. Anyway, that's enough from me today. Just thought I'd check in with you guys. Hope everyone's having a great time in lockdown, managing at least. I shall see you soon. Peace out.